think I'm going to hit that right on the shoot together.
Sport fans, I'm Michael Sakala.
And I'm Brandon Wickern.
And how the hell are you? So you're interrupting the intro. All right. Here we go.
We're at Rosati's again in South Fort Myers, and just to get it out of the way, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We will be looking pretty in pink at some point.
Ooh, pinky, pinky, what you want to do, stinky. All right, so speaking of pinky, let's strap on our speedos and dive right into the Major League Baseball race. Why don't you tell us all what's going to happen this coming October as we're in right now?
Well, I tell you what, I wish I knew what was going to happen, but I can tell you this much: National League, as we've been saying, is pretty much sewn up. The only question is, and it would take I think it'd take a playing game now to even see where you want to play, which would be stupid. Is where the Cubs will be playing, in Wrigley or in Pirates Park. And Mets, even with the Dodgers, to see, because they're going to be playing each other, to see which one gets home field between the two. That's it. Everybody else is in position, and it did end up that way. Everyone in the NL Central would have been leading any other division in the league.
What, from
95 wins or better.
From what I've been listening on ESPN and listening over the radio, a lot of these so-called baseball experts are saying that if the Pirates can figure out a way to get past Jack, all right, the Cubs pitcher, they see them, they could be the clear shot favorites to go to the World Series. They think their hardest game is going to be their game in with the Cubs, simply because they got to go up against Jack, who I think since the All-Star break has been damn near unhittable.
I was hearing through that clown that you listen to sometimes on the radio.
Mad Dog?
The idiot. He thinks no matter where it comes from, he thinks the Cardinals are going to bow out. Yes. Because they can't. I mean, they've had all these injuries. Yes, Wainwright came back, did a little throw-in. Mm-hmm. It's just been too much, is what he's alluding to. And he's also saying that either he doesn't know if it would be the Cubs or the Pirates to take him out, because it's his explanation. The Pirates would be throwing their ace, Cole. The Cubs would be throwing Arrieta. Yeah. Therefore, the winner of that game, whoever it would be, would go and face the Cardinals, and their pitcher would only get to have one game.
That's the tough situation you're in.
Yeah, but I don't think your whole staff is actually based on one pitcher. If it was, you wouldn't be in the playoffs. That was his take. I really didn't agree. I know the Cardinals had a rough year. For them to still win 100 games was something else. Yeah. Not to move to the American League real quick. Blue Jays, which was one of your picks there, they finally clinched it. What's going on there? They're still in a fight with Kansas City. There's 2 games left of home field throughout. Yankees are a wild card, definitely. But boy, the AL West was a fun one this year. And without what happened last night, we really could have had something neat going on. But Twins just couldn't pull it off. Like I said, the Royals are still playing for that position, and that's who the Twins wound up the season with. Was playing the Royals the last 3. So the Royals don't have their little second stringers in there, and they're playing for home field, so there's something to play for. Twins just couldn't get it last night. They lost 3-1. The Angels actually had a chance going in to have the division.
Yes, they did.
Because they wound up in the last 4 games against the Rangers, and they were 3 out. And they already split 2 of them, so the best they can do is end up 1 game back. And of course, the Astros keep winning. Now all we can hope for is the Angels the Astros lose one of their games, so that the Angels can remain even with them to have that playoff occur. Yeah. Rangers did not clinch last night because the Angels beat them.
It's not over yet.
So as long as the Angels keep winning, the Rangers can't clinch. They would have also done it if had the Astros lost, but of course they didn't. So, and if it ran down to Toronto and the Royals with the same record, the Toronto Blue Jays would have it on the season series.
Huh.
That's it.
Sweet. Now, before we start talking about week 3, since we are here in Bear Country, we should talk about the fire sale, as they call it. Not the yard sale that most of you people are used to going to on a Saturday morning. We're talking about a fire sale. And so far it's been sold at this fire sale Jared Allen has went over to the Panthers, and what's this? John Bostic went to the Pats.
See, that's why I'm still in the yard sale for him. We won't get fired until we talk about some of your next names there.
Yeah, because apparently, who's up next for the best item up for bid is Matt Forte. They're talking about Jay Cutler and also Martellus Bennett. What do you think about these guys?
I don't think there's a Cutler taker out there. I'm sure there'd be plenty for Matt Forte.
Oh, yes.
It would just depend what can you get, because if I'm the Bears, I'm not giving that up without something good. He still has.
He's got some life
He's
in
got
his
gas in the
tires.
tank. Definitely.
Yeah, well, I would, but as our fans are saying out there, they're not so happy about Forte.
No,
And,
he's been a valuable asset to
Yeah.
the team.
Well,
He could fit in with your boys.
Well, that's what
If they got rid of him.
I wrote down. As far as Forte, I got 4 teams I think would possibly be an interest for him: the Jags, the Panthers, the Browns, and the Cowboys. What do you think about one of those 4 possibly going after Forte? Especially if Chicago does the deal like they did with Jared Allen, where they just pay for everything and you just take it. Because I don't know if you're aware of that, but the Panthers are getting Allen for 0. Because
Right.
Chicago's picking up the rest of his tab. So
But
if somebody
that
can pick
also-
up Nat's tab, take it.
That was part of the reason too. They wiped it off their slate this year, so
Yeah.
they're $11 million richer
Yeah.
next year.
And then
So.
you mentioned Cutler, and I wrote down 4 teams I think would possibly be interested in Cutler. And they would be McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, and lastly, Kentucky Fried Chicken. What do you think? One of those 4 teams I think will definitely go after him.
No takers.
Fry cook, I think.
No takers in Houston, maybe. You think? Or?
Maybe, I guess, if you want a miserable guy who walks around and all mopey. And,
No, I'm just saying. I can't see Cleveland because you still have
No.
the Manziel factor, and they're not going anywhere. But the Texans, had they settled for Cleveland's ex quarterback, and then they reapplied Mallet. So they
Yeah.
keep taking it back. I just thought a veteran presence might put some life in their offense. Maybe.
And to me, Bennett, the tight end, he might be the most intriguing. I put down here the Jets, Hot Nana, Bills, the Raiders, the Jags, the Colts, and the Broncos.
And I'll tell you something about him, and I don't know why. When he was on your team, Jerry Jones saw something in him. Athletic ability, his size, everything. But he just did not play for you guys. At
No,
all.
but
He played like he should be kicked off your squad.
No, but he'll
And
tell you
then
what, he's tough.
When he became a Bear, for some reason, he started playing up to his potential.
To me, he becomes what you want out of a tight end. He's that insurance guy in 3rd and shorts or 3rd and 8 or whatever. He finds a way to get open. That's why those teams I mentioned, they can so much use a tight end. When it's all said and done, me personally, I think when we talk about during the week, I love the fact that they're doing the fire sale and they're cutting off all their dead weight. I said, why not? Like I told you before, Rivers and the Chargers should have did this a while ago. Breeze and the Saints should have did it a while ago. And I think maybe about 5 years ago, I've been saying Romo and the Cowboys should have cut ties. There's no reason to keep
You
this
wind
dead
up
weight.
waiting too long, and then you get nothing for him.
Yeah,
The value of the players. Is
On the flip side, and the good side of the fire sale, they're not just selling everything, they are actually out there buying. And the Bears did pick up a very hot free agent off the market. They went and got a punter. Spencer Landry. So apparently they at least have one play out of the 4 that's going to actually get yardage for them when they punt.
Depending on how well he lands that football, that could
Yes,
be
this
the
is
missing
true.
commodity.
Well, you figure with a name like Lanning, he might be able to land.
There you go.
Now, here we move on to week 3, as we like to call it. What did we learn about week 3? So what was your take and your wrap on
And
week
I
3?
have to eat a little crow here to start with. And I should have wrote the name down. It wasn't on the TV show. It was something I was reading, information thing on the internet from the NFL Network. And I stuffed it in my mouth last week
Wow, wait a
with the dumping the 50 on Jacksonville, and I'll be damned if it wasn't 51 points.
I got that
so-
written down.
I ate it, it didn't taste too bad, but I am going to get off the Patriots for a little bit now. Thank God they're going to bye this week. I don't have to worry about it.
Yes.
But I'll leave them alone for a little while.
Yes.
Now, what else did I learn? I can tell you this. After week 3, there's no awards given out. Nobody won any trophies. There's no team going to the Super Bowl after week 3.
You're absolutely correct.
The whole season left. We have a whole bunch of games to play. 13 more for every team except the Ravens and the Steelers.
Yes.
A lot of season left. I don't even want to see it go fast. Okay? gonna say this about the Eagles game. I'll tell you what I learned if I was Chip Kelly. I think I might have finally found a little running game. Interesting that it was with Ryan Matthews
Yep.
instead of, your boy. Once again, he went home and he couldn't feel happy. His team played 30 minutes of football, as did the Jets. It was like watching two halves. The Eagles played the first half.
Yeah.
The Jets played the second half. And barring like 5 turnovers, the Jets still could have won that game.
You're absolutely right.
So, but that just goes to show you,
Yes.
how you can turn things around.
Yeah.
There was one other game that was
What
pretty
was that?
interesting. Well, the one Thursday night. We commented on that before it started, and we got lucky. We got lucky to
Oh,
say,
with the
to say
Ravens?
that we won the Ravens game. But that's how the Ravens and the Steelers game. I don't know if you had watched the game. You may not have been there. I watched it, and they put a stat up. How many games these guys have played before last night between each other since the Ravens moved there, and it was just amazing. Adding up all the games, the wins they were in front of each other, the points that each other had scored against each other was like 1 point difference.
Ridiculous.
And it's some ridiculous thing, like their last 10 or 12 games were decided by 3 or 4 points, or it's just amazing. I will say we got lucky to chalk that.
Oh yeah.
Now let's see what you learned.
Now, some of the things I learned about in week 3, a little historian here. The Ravens were the last team in the NFL to start a season 0-3. So prior to last week, all 31 teams have at one time or another in their history went 0-3. Ravens finally accomplished that, and congratulations to them. I also learned that Cam Newton is too young to get a personal foul call. Or at least that's what he was crying about.
That's what he's playing.
But the actual call, from what you read from referee Ed Hakachula, or however you beat up his name, apparently he told him you were a runner, and you don't get that call when you are a runner.
What I think is Cam took a look at Ed, and then one of these numbers, and Cam just turned around. So I think.
Yeah, well, Cam likes to cry. What I also learned is that Hot Atlanta is the actual beast in the NFC East, as they have consecutively now beaten the Birds, the G-Men, and the Cowboys. And come
Cowboy win was impressive.
next week, October 11th, they'll be taking on and probably beating the Skins, so they'll just sweep that entire division. And then looking at Hot Atlanta's the rest of their season, I almost can say I think they're going to the playoffs. I mean, you got the Texans, the Skins, the Saints, the Titans, the Niners, Colts, Vikings, Bucks, Panthers,
Some
Jags,
losses in there.
Panthers. I think they're going to be
Got to tell you
all right.
something else too. There's another team in their division that's the same way. They're both 3-0.
Yeah, Panthers are, The next thing I did learn that you brought up is that the Pats did score 51 points.
Yes, they do.
Then I also learned that there was 8 0-2 teams going into last week. We're now down to 4, actually 3 if you count the Ravens win on they had the other night. So the race for the Ohio State Cordell Jones is probably down to now the Lions, the Bears, and the Saints. We're just going to have to see who's going to go after that kid. What we did see and did have was the sighting of Michael Vick on Thursday. He didn't do bad. He went 19 for 26, 124 yards and touchdown. He ran for 33. He did what he was supposed to. He didn't get crazy. But I don't know why they ran the ball on 4th and 1 with him.
He was a little indecisive at times, but he's only taken over the helm for a week, so he's not used to everybody.
I still think, here we are week 3, that the Cardinals are still going to be considered a tough out when it's all said and done. And then lastly, what I learned is another little interesting fact. Lambeau Field seats 80,735 people in their stadium. They have a waiting list for season ticket holders of 117,000 Packers packing in that stadium.
Wow.
Think about that. It only seats 80, and there's 117 just waiting to get into this place.
Yeah, you can't.
Talking about packing it in? Shoot.
Yeah, definitely have to know somebody.
Shoot. All right, so here we go in the week 4.
What did you learn about your Cowboys?
I learned about my Cowboys is they better just be able to figure out a way to hold on.
Now you got the Saints.
And I thought
They're marching in. So.
I got to be honest, I thought they had a chance, marching in, but now apparently Breeze, I guess he sat in one of those oxygen chambers. He's going to play on Sunday, and something tells me they're not going to look so good on Sunday, the Cowboys. It kind of worries me a lot. I think Romo going down, Dez, it's an ugly situation. So who you got for week 4?
I hadn't given that a whole lot of thought, but I don't like to just pick the easy ones like, hey, I'm taking Seahawks over Lions, you know. It's just too easy. I'm not doing that. And I don't mean to pick on you, but things have a way of evening themselves out. You know, it's just sad that the Cowboys have to be in the middle of it. I don't see the Saints at home. As long as Breeze's arm is healthy, you look at it this way, they're going to have to outscore Breeze. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's
If
tough.
he,
That's tough to
if he
do.
puts up 37, then Whedon's going to have to do the same. Can that happen? I just think, I
No.
just believe the Saints are going to get their first win. Things have a way of
Yeah.
evening themselves, and I'm going to go out on a limb. I know nobody's going here at all. And we have not seen the look of the Bengals yet. The usual look. They're at home.
Mm-hmm.
Come right out of the gate, they're 3-0. I'm picking Chiefs.
Wow.
Ask me why at Cincinnati to get even.
Wow, that's a big one.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to start off with London Bridge is falling down, so you better get yourself a plane ticket, or should
That's
I say
another
the
big game
Jets?
there, by the way.
The Jets are only -1.5, and they're playing the Dolphins, and typically they usually play very well against the Dolphins. They usually end up beating the Dolphins. So again, I don't think it matters what field you're on. I'm taking the Jets in that one.
And if that happens, it could be trouble at Miami.
Oh yeah, well you know how Sue is if he wants to play. You know how
No, I mean-
he freelances now.
I mean, coaching.
Oh yeah, well the coach was never really. Next, and get this is pretty different. The Panthers and Bucks are playing, and
Almost went there.
for the last 6 years, these two have been a sweep. Meaning that in 2009 and 2011, the Panthers won both games. In 2010 and 2012, the Buccaneers won both games. And in 13 and 14 last year, the Panthers won. So get your brooms out because the Panthers are going to sweep the Bucks again this year. They're only -3. I'm picking the Panthers to beat the
Well,
Bucks.
that ain't going nowhere. That's an easy game. If
And
you'd have told me Bucks over Panthers, I'd say, yeah, stick it out there.
And then lastly, just because, trying to make some extra money here, throw a C note on the Hawks because they will yet again shut down and shut out another NFC
let's
North
do it.
team on Detroit.
I'll go head to head against you on that one. Let's go Bucks, just to say it.
I tell you what, I looked at this week's games.
Not that they're going to sweep.
This week's game's not all that exciting. I mean, it's NFL. We're all going to get excited and put our jerseys on and drink our beer, but it ain't. I didn't see like any game where, oh my God, I can't wait to see that. It was too bright.
If you would ask the Eagles and Redskins that, I bet they'd disagree with you.
Yeah.
It's a big game for them.
Yeah.
Big game for you, too, by the way.
Yes, yeah. But I'm telling you, I don't feel good about the Cowboys at all. I have mixed emotions.
Rams,
on
Cardinals, you ain't excited about that one?
I would have if the Rams would beat the Skins.
Do you know that their record, since they've been playing, and I guess it's funny, it's actually St. Louis against St. Louis,
Yeah.
basically, the way that it works out.
Yeah.
But after all the moves and everything, and the times they played each other, it's 34-32.
Really?
Cardinals.
Huh.
Within 2. That's how tight they played each other.
That's
Another
weird.
one of those in-division games. You
just
what's
never
gonna
know. And then,
happen. By the way, the Rams have not been playing their potential.
No,
If they would
not
ever
at all.
start, they might be going somewhere.
and then lastly, as I've asked all you sport fans to write in to get in your picks or topics you want to talk about. One of our great sport fans, a guy by the name of Doug Bernacki, wrote in, and as he called it, his penetration picks. And in his normal position, he's going to start off on his knees and go with the blowout of the Raiders over the Bears. Then, unfortunately, after a few neck cramps, he's going to slide and do a back door and go deep plunging with the Vikings over the Broncos. There's your pick right
What
there.
else
He's going Vikings Broncos.
Better chance of that happening than you last week picking the Lions.
Wow. And then, lastly, to fulfill his sick needs, he's strapping on the leather and he's going to have the Cowboys go dominatrix over the Saints, which will allow him to strap a muzzle on all the Eagle fans. One thing I can say to Doug is you need some serious help, brother. Your picks aren't so bad, but your comments, we need to talk. We might need to give you a doctor. I think there's a little head issue going on with this kid.
As we were winding down last week, exiting, you asked the question, college football Saturday, what do you got? Well,
Yeah.
I tell you what, we have a pretty good one this week. I decided to really look that up this week. I was being a slacker last week, I apologize. There's actually 5 games this week of ranked against ranked, and it's going to that's gonna.
Oh, really?
It's gonna
Who we
move things
got?
around. You got Alabama and Georgia.
I'll take Alabama.
Georgia being the 1.5 point favorite.
Yeah.
Notre Dame and Clemson.
Nah, I'm going with Notre Dame. They've been tough.
Clemson's 2-point favorite. Ole Miss at Florida.
I gotta go Ole Miss. I watched Florida the other last week, and I don't know.
Ole Miss is ranked for third. They're the only road team with their 6.5 favorite.
Really?
West Virginia at Oklahoma.
I don't really know either one. I know Oklahoma beat Tennessee the other day, or a couple weeks ago, but they're no football.
Oklahoma's another 6.5 favorite, and Mississippi State at Texas A&M.
Ooh, is Johnny football playing?
No, I'm sure he'll be on the side.
Well, then I'll probably go with the other guy.
It's A&M by 5.
Really?
With the odds.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
You look up at the top of college, it's pretty funny. It's like you're looking at the top of the Big Ten. Unbelievable that Ohio State won and Michigan State too. I just find it hard to believe.
it's almost like the rotation starting all over
And,
again.
neither team is playing anybody this week, so we're not.
Do they actually? I'm assuming that they do play each other one day.
Yeah,
Right?
at the end of the season.
All right. Well, at least we get that great game. So here we go, sport fans. Enjoy your week 4 football. Make sure you set your clock early because, like I said, I believe it's a 9:30 kickoff Eastern time. You got the Jets and Dolphins.
Football all day.
All day, all night. How nice is
I
that?
really would like to see the Packers get even with the 49ers.
Oh, there you go. Blow out. You heard it here first. Blow out.
Enjoy your Sunday. Thank you,
Take it
Saturday.
easy. Where are we again? So I don't butcher your name.
Wherever Rosati's.
Rosati's. Thank you so much
Where's
and
your pay?
enjoy. Go Bears.